I'm afraid of my 7-year-old daughter. It started a few months ago when I told Kaylee to turn off the TV for bed. She looked at me with zero emotion and said, if I had a pew-pew, I'd shoot you while you're sleeping. I laughed nervously and told her we don't say things like that. She stared at me for 10 seconds without blinking and walked upstairs without saying another word. The next morning I told her she couldn't have cookies for breakfast and she said, if I turn on the stove without lighting it, you'd never wake up. I got chills all over my body. I asked where she heard that and she smiled. I'm just smart. A couple of days later she walked past me on the deck and said, I could loosen these screws and if you leaned on the railing you'd fall and break your neck. Then she crouched down and touched one of the screws like she was checking how tight it was. I grabbed her hand and pulled her away. She had to be learning all of this somewhere. So that night I grabbed her tablet. When I looked at her search history, I almost threw up. How do you make someone fall down the stairs? What happens when you mix bleach and ammonia? How can you start a fire that looks like an accident? Do kids go to jail for killing their parents? When I asked her about it the next morning, she looked at the screen and shrugged. You can take it away, but I already know what I need to know. I started locking my bedroom door at night and hiding anything sharp. I called my sister over because I needed someone to believe me, but the second she walked in, Kaylee turned back into a normal kid. My sister pulled me aside and whispered, she seems fine. Are you sleeping enough? I wanted to scream, but Kaylee was in the doorway watching with this little smile. After my sister left, Kaylee said, nobody's going to believe you. She was right. I made a therapy appointment, but they couldn't see us for 3 weeks. Every day Kaylee would say something new. I could push you and your head would hit that corner. Or, it's easy to put stuff in people's drinks when they aren't looking. One morning she came into the bathroom while I was brushing my teeth and just stood there watching me in the mirror. When I asked what she wanted, she said, I was thinking about how slippery the floor gets when it's wet. I looked down and she'd poured water all over the tile. She could see that I was startled and it made her smile. Then one night I woke up and she was standing next to my bed. I don't know what woke me, but when I opened my eyes, she was right there in the dark, staring down at me. My door had been locked and I have no idea how she got in. I turned on the lamp and saw she was holding matches. She didn't move when the light came on, just kept staring with her head tilted. I said her name and my voice cracked. She said, I wanted to see if you were really asleep. I asked why she had matches and she said, I was just going to light one and put it close to your face to see if you'd wake up. My whole body was shaking. She took a step closer and I could smell the sulfur from the matchbook. She held it up and said, I can run faster than you know. I asked why she would say that and she said, because fire spreads really fast. Her voice was so calm. I reached for the matches, but she pulled them back. Say please, she whispered. My heart was pounding. I said please, and she smiled and handed them over. It was the worst smile I've ever seen. She said, you know you can't watch me all the time, right? You have to sleep. Then she leaned in close and whispered, and I never sleep anymore. She turned and walked out, closing the door behind her. I sat there with the lights on until morning. The next morning I went through her tablet again and found messages I had missed before. Her dad's new girlfriend had been sending her articles and videos about ways to hurt people. She'd been telling Kaylee that I was the reason her dad left and that I deserved to be punished. I called the cops that day and got Kaylee into emergency therapy. Kaylee's been in therapy for 2 months now and she's getting better, but sometimes I still catch her staring at me and wonder what she's thinking.